Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. Today we are doing a new release, and it is for the 2023 Adventure Comedy Fantasy Barbie. And as a heads up, there will be spoilers. Here is your trivia question for today. Who is the character in the film that almost everyone seems to dislike and mistreat? The answer will be at the end of this episode. Our movie starts off with a visit to Barbie Land, where we meet our main character, Barbie, played by Margot Robbie. She also in the film goes by stereotypical Barbie. Now we get to see what a typical day in Barbie Land is like. We also get to meet lots and lots of different Barbies, and lots of different Kens. And Alan. Everything seems to be going great for Barbie and all of her friends, until Barbie brings up a question of, does anyone else ever think of dying? All sorts of weird things begin happening to her, including her feet going flat on the ground. So she seeks out help from the one known as Weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, who explains to Barbie that she needs to travel to the real world and fix whatever is happening. Barbie begins journeying to the real world. She ends up having an extra passenger as Ken has decided without consulting her that he's going to join her for the ride. Barbie and Ken then make it to the real world, where the Mattel Corporation is apparently aware of this fact, and their CEO, played by Will Ferrell, is now going to do everything he can to get both of them back before things start changing. Barbie and Ken separate for a bit, as Barbie is looking for the girl who is apparently connected to her. She does end up finding a girl named Sasha and her friends who she believes is the one. But Sasha ends up using her teen angst against Barbie and really making her feel terrible. And while all of that is happening, Ken is traveling around the real world and discovering something unfortunate: the patriarchy. So he decides to head back to Barbie Land and start making a few changes. So now the real question becomes, can Barbie fix the issues in the real world before Ken does too much damage in Barbie Land? This film is written and directed by Greta Gerwig. There have been quite a few changes since they first talked about making this movie in 2009. Mind you, Warner Brothers did eventually make it, but originally Universal was going to, and then Sony Pictures almost did. Gerwig was the one to make this version that we've seen, but there were scripts written by Jenny Bix, Diablo Cody, Kim Caramel, along with Amy Schumer, and Olivia Milch. Althea Jones was almost the director. There was also other possibilities of actors playing Barbie. Amy Schumer was a possibility, Anne Hathaway, and right before they made their most recent decision, Gal Gadot almost got the role, but they ended up going with Margot Robbie. Robbie only had one request to the director: that Barbie's house have a slide that would go from her bedroom to her swimming pool. Margot Robbie actually wore 18 different wigs throughout the film. Also, apparently, way before this movie was ever created, she actually had a bucket list, and one of the things on the list was to meet Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling plays Ken, and there's an interesting story as to why he accepted the role. He saw his daughter playing with a Ken doll and laying it face down in the mud next to a squished lemon. He sent a picture of this to Greta Gerwig saying, "I shall be your Ken. His story must be told." Gosling drew a lot of his performance of Ken from his time on the Mickey Mouse Club. I mean, come on, look at that smolder. Also, if you didn't know, he's supposed to be based off of a specific Ken doll called Sun Lovin' Malibu Ken. Simu Liu plays the rival Ken and does a great job of it. What's interesting, by the way, is that an Asian version of Ken did not appear until 2011, and unfortunately, it was Samurai Ken. Michael Cera does a great job as the character of Alan. Alan, by the way, was a doll that was created that specifically was supposed to be Ken's friend, but on the box it said he can wear all of Ken's clothes. Before Michael Cera, Jonathan Groff was actually up for the role of Alan. Kingsley Ben-Adir is another Ken in this film, and it's very different from another role that he's currently playing in the television series Marvel's Secret Invasion as the main villain. Nakuti Gatwa is another Ken that is going to be impressing us soon, as he is the next Doctor in the Doctor Who series. Margot Robbie became close friends with John Cena while filming The Suicide Squad. She even asked him if he would be willing to do a small role in this film, and that's why we got John Cena as Ken the Merman. Bowen Yang, Dan Levy, and Ben Platt were all actors that were asked to be Kens as well, but each of them turned it down. Hari Nef is playing the character of Dr. Barbie in the film. Dr. Barbie did not actually get created until 1973. Neff, by the way, is a transgender woman. Now, a transgender version of Barbie didn't show up until 2022, and this was a variation of Laverne Cox. Issa Rae played the character President Barbie, which that doll did not appear until 1992. Dua Lipa plays the character of Mermaid Barbie, and more specifically, she is supposed to be the 2018 Dreamtopia Mermaid Barbie. Also, the character of Mermaid Barbie was originally going to be going to Denise Richards, but she had to turn it down. America Ferrera and Ariana Greenblatt do a great job of a mother and daughter duo in this movie. Did you happen to know that Ryan Piers Williams, who plays America's husband in this film, is actually her husband in real life? This has not actually been fully confirmed yet, but did you happen to notice that Sasha and her friends look eerily similar to the original four Bratz dolls, which was a competitor to Barbie? The font that they use in this film is specifically the font used for Barbie toys from 1975 to 1991. The opening scene of the movie is absolutely a tribute to the movie 2001 A Space Odyssey. There's also a rumor going around that there was so much pink paint used for this movie that it actually caused an international shortage. Greta Gerwig insisted on bonding experiences for the cast, so she would make them have slumber parties and movie nights. You may not have noticed this, but the odometer for the Barbie car reads as 031959, which is actually the launch date for the Barbie doll back in March of 1959. One more thing I want to bring up is about some of the songs used in the film. Barbie continually sings the song Closer to Fine by the Indigo Girls. It's a song about being confused but looking for answers and ending up finding the answer in the end. Ken has a song that he keeps singing, which is Push by Matchbox 20, which is about a guy getting pushed around by a girl he's having a relationship with. So when it comes to the movie Barbie, I thought it was really good. I thought it had a great story, some fun messages, it was really funny, and I especially enjoyed what they did with the sets and the props because everything looked exactly like the toy line. So I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, who is the character in the film that almost everyone seems to dislike and mistreat? The character I'm referring to is Midge, played by Emerald Fennell. Now, what's interesting is the dislike or the hatred that this character is getting is not just meant to be funny. It's actually a reference to the fact that most people did not like the doll when it was created. Now, that's mainly due to the fact that the first run of the doll, people originally thought that Midge was supposed to be a teenager that is pregnant, and a lot of people had issue with that. Then, once they cleared it up and explained that she was an adult and she was married to Alan, they still had issues with the fact that none of the packaging showed this. So, when they revamped her yet again, they made sure that she had a ring on her finger and there was a cutout of Alan in her packaging. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. If there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.